Okay, round 10 was a ripper. Some controversy, some upsets, more stumbles at the top of the ladder, even bigger holes dug at the bottom, laughter and tears, light and shade, big and small, Turnbull and Shorten, Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, tomato, tomato. Let's call the whole thing off and get straight to hot or not. Okay, now I had to lead off last week because you were in no condition to talk for a few minutes.
I was ailing.
Okay, well, you're back on deck. You're back with a vengeance. Kick us off today.
All right, I've got what's hot. And what's hot is Sydney, not just that they're on top of the ladder, Rowan. They've seen 6 players make their AFL debuts this year. I mean, that's normally the domain of teams that are down the bottom of the ladder. This weekend, or last weekend just past, it was Harrison Marsh, and I thought he was really good, nice and composed. He joins Aliir, Tom Pavlich, who's a great little small forward, George Hewitt, who's held his place in the side.
Callum Mills.
Callum Mills, and what were your parents thinking when they named you Jack Hiscox?
Well, it's good to see the return of George to AFL ranks too, don't you think?
There's plenty of George.
Very underrated name.
Shall I do the quote that we hear on 1116 SEN all the time? There's a million this, there's Georges, there's Callums, there's Alirs, but there's no Kevins. Do you reckon we'll ever have a Kevin again?
Well, not after KB led the way. I think it would be doing that name a disservice to, I mean, you'd just be merely walking in the shadows of that name.
Kevin Morris?
Kevin Morris, yeah. It is old school.
It is old school, but...
Maybe if we get a Prince Kevin, we'll start getting a bit of a revival.
Never.
Okay, I'm going off the rank with a hot, and it is the raffle that is the 2016 AFL Premiership. Quite unbelievable, and we've talked about a contender presents itself, and they seem to get shot down. And here's some footage of the latest hot turn not, and it's the Cats, who were flag favourite, I think, in their own right for about 3 weeks, but 2 really ordinary performances against Collingwood and Carlton, and full credit to the Blues. We'll talk plenty about them, don't worry. But the Cats on the nose a bit. GWS took a step back, couldn't win on the road against Adelaide. The Crows have come up in the credibility stakes. They had a really good win against GWS. I can't remember a flag race this deep into a season, nearly the halfway point, and we're all the winners for it. It's absolutely fantastic.
You know, I was put on the spot during the week, just before the round started on Thursday night, to name my AFL Premiership chances, and I cut it down to 5. I actually left GWS in there out of respect, but I tipped them
so
to
who
get
are
beaten.
they, quickly?
Well, most importantly, they're not North Melbourne, and this is even before their loss after 9-0.
Yeah.
I just think they've got too many players the wrong side of 30 starting to show some creaking. You know, Nick Del Santo, I'm not sure about Petrie. Harvey, is he bankable? And there's no way that Jared Waite was ever going to keep that pace up.
So who are they, quickly?
Hawthorn, always.
Yep.
Sydney Swans are a bit of a natural.
Yep.
I put Adelaide in because at their best they've got the makeup. I could put GWS in, you know, out of that sort of level of respect for what they've done and the fact that they're young. And
Cats?
No.
No? So who's your fifth?
No. I think I've trimmed one. I think well, that was before the weekend, so now it's down to 4.
Well, see, that's how movable a feast it is. One's actually dropped off your radar, and they haven't even played another game.
No, I'm saying that was before the Cats' loss.
Okay.
I had a big watch on them anyhow. I'm not sure about the chemistry there, but
no, they're in for me. And you got too much disrespect.
Oh, sorry, I had the Bulldogs. I've still got the Bulldogs in there because for me the Bulldogs have covered a lot of losses with, I mean, all off the half back line almost, with suitable replacements. They've got more depth than any other team.
No, they've hung in really well.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry, I didn't have the Cats, I had the Doggies.
That's all right, you're next.
Speaking of the Doggies, look, they were very lucky to win against Collingwood. Collingwood kept losing players, we know that. How about the mark of Dalhouse in the third? This is a really important mark.
Pretty sure we got footage of it here.
Yeah, you be the judge.
Okay.
Now, I mean, this is a pivotal time.
One.
It's a pivotal time of the game. He did not. You've got to take those marks. If you're going to pay something in front of the line, they have got to be held absolutely solid.
Yeah, there's a juggle on the line, isn't there?
Once there's a bit of ball movement, to me that's not a mark. And that was so important.
It was a critical decision.
15 seconds to go in the quarter.
Yeah.
Huge on the scoreboard, huge for momentum.
Yeah.
And
well, they're pretty red hot on them when the boundary line's in play, aren't they?
Well, that's all I'm saying is on the boundary line, the boundary umpire gets involved and he loves paying no mark. No, it seems as though the goal umpire didn't want a piece of that. So
well, again, different rule for the scoring zone too.
Yep.
Seems to be a recurring problem. No, I like that one. Good call. Okay, I'm up next, and it's a not, unfortunately, and it's a sad one, to be honest. It's Matthew Pavlich from Fremantle. I did that St Kilda Fremantle game. Freo have got big issues, obviously, but probably none bigger than their most storied, legendary player who is really, really struggling. And just watching him up close, it just gave you a different perspective on it. There were fumbles. He couldn't get to the contest. When he did lead the way to the ball, he was spoiled too easily. He's lost his agility, obviously lost a bit of confidence. And it's just sad to watch. Now, having said that, I'm not of the school of thought that he needs to retire pronto, because I think having made the commitment, he'll want to see it out. And look, I think we should be big enough to respect that, okay, this is a gamble, it didn't work. Let him play out the season. They're in a hole. It wouldn't look good for anyone, I think, to have him pull up stumps now. But, I just hope down the track that people's memories of Pav aren't this last season, because this really is a classic case of, they reckon players over the wrong side of 30, once you fall off the cliff, you can really plummet. I reckon this is one of them.
Players regress. It's like our own lives. And sometimes the end of a player's life can be sad. It can be sort of the football equivalent of incontinence and a bit Alzheimer-ish. And unfortunately, that's what's happened to Pavlich.
So you're suggesting Pav should be wearing a nappy?
No, but he should be wearing something. I think the greatest football regression was pluggers, but because he took a year off, he had to wear a different number.
Yeah.
And I think as you get on in your career, you should go back to high numbers. At least Plugger finished in the 46. So I'd like to see Pav, if he's going to have to play this year out, give him something like 49, or give him a number that shows the regression.
Okay, we've got to zip through the last two. Yours, in a nutshell?
Well, I'm going to go for a not hot, and that is the Carlton doctor who assessed Levi Casbolt's leg 2 weeks ago as broken. Do you hear what they said now?
Yeah,
it's a crease.
A crease.
It was a crease in the X-ray.
So all it needed was an iron. Didn't need a surgery. You needed an iron and a can of preen.
You know the old X-rays on those really thick film, plasticky things?
Yeah.
There was a little fold, a crease in it. Lucky it wasn't across his head or another part of his body. Levi's not playing. He's got a sort of cracked skull and a broken collarbone. And I mean, come on, read them properly, Carlton.
Yeah, it was a remarkable comeback. Okay, to finish off, I'm going with a hot. And this has got to be, it will be the goal of the year. Eddie Betts, we love him. He's everyone's favourite player. He's everyone's favourite player because he does things like we're about to see here, Finey. Absolutely the goal of the year. Does well enough just to keep it in. Really smart.
Brilliant.
Sees an opportunity, walks around the player on the boundary, and then bang! What a star he is. And look at that smile. The understated, sort of half understated celebration. But he's a gun. And actually, that wasn't in the Eddie Betts pocket. Now we're going to have two Eddie Betts pockets at Adelaide Oval.
How many pockets can a man have?
Never have too many pockets. Like those 70s Amco jeans. They had pockets on the knees. And
you can have too many pockets. You can certainly have too many you can't have too many pockets, I should say, for Eddie Betts. That will not be goal of the year. I'm tipping Eddie Betts to top it.
Oh, okay. All right.
He almost did he kicked another great one during the game.
Yeah, he's not short of candidates.